All right, so tonight we're going to do the second session, which is pelvic girdle pain. So I don't know if we did this one last block. Last block was your first block, wasn't it?
Yeah, I only did about 3 classes.
Yeah, well, I tend to do, I've got sort of 12 classes, so
Okay.
I do one 6-week block and then a slightly different 6-week block. Some bits are the same, but not all of it. So this is the second session on pelvic girdle pain, which is quite important because most people will get pelvic pain at some point, which you'll probably experience if you haven't already. But there's lots of varying levels of pelvic pain. So I've brought a little pelvis along tonight to show you, which is quite useful. So pelvic girdle pain is like the blanket term for any pain in your pelvis throughout pregnancy. And it can be really mild. Some people will just feel like a twingy pain, just slightly uncomfortable, maybe a dull ache. For other people, it might be more of a sciatic pain around the back. For other people, it might be like a shooting pain between the legs. Some people, you might have heard it referred to as lightning crotch, which is a really unendearing term, but that is what it's called. And it literally does feel like a. Have you ever had it?
I haven't had it.
No, it is a really sharp jolt between your legs, and that's all I can describe it as. And it goes away as quick as it comes, but it's like, oh, okay, that was uncomfortable, and I guess that's where the lightning crotch comes from. But basically, the reason it happens is because of all the pressure on the pelvis. So if you imagine, obviously your belly's growing bigger, your back muscles are weaker because everything at the front is weaker. So we're putting a lot more pressure on these joints here and on this little joint here. So this at the front here is called the, hang on, I've got that the wrong way around. No, yeah, I am right. This is called the pubic symphysis. Okay, so then there's a disorder called pubic symphysis disorder, PSD, or SPD, sometimes known as by the midwives, and it basically means a shooting pain all the way down the front, but so severe that you couldn't sit like this. It would be too painful for you to have your legs any wider than hip distance apart, so you'd have to keep your legs crossed. If that happens at any point, you can still do yoga, but you just need to make adaptations because we'll need to keep everything in line rather than doing any squats or anything out wide. You just need to keep everything straight, and you can have some physio for that as well. Generally, it would stay until after baby, but hopefully you can manage it through yoga. The other one is for these two joints here, which are the sacroiliac joints, which join to the wings of the pelvis. And this is more the sciatic pain, but quite severe, so much so that you'd sort of struggle with walking and sitting. It's quite rare. Both of those are not just normal pelvic girdle pain. You would be diagnosed with those if things became particularly painful, and you would need to have physio for both. So we really want to protect these joints at the back and this joint at the front by doing lots of pelvic stretches, pelvic strengthening exercises, pelvic floor if you're not doing it already. I got sent the squeezy app the other day for the first time, so I guess it's like a generic thing they do now. They sent me the email to download that. So of course I've been doing that today.
Is that really I haven't even thought about that.
Pelvic floor.
Recommend?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely
And that's
do
just
it.
like the squeeze.
So we're going to do some tonight,
Okay.
and I'm going to teach you the most basic, easy methods to do it. The ideal is to practice it 5 times a day, which of course I know that nobody does. But if you can practice it once a day, or maybe twice a day. I used to do it. Do you drive to work?
Yeah.
So with first baby, I used to do it on my way to work. Every time I stopped at like traffic lights or anything like that, I would just practice it for a few seconds and then do it again later on my way home from work, just to make sure I was then in a routine. Whereas when you've already got other children, it becomes a little bit like, oh, I haven't done it. It's just another thing that just flips your mind. But do it all the way through pregnancy, and after you've had baby, definitely make time to do it when you're sitting down feeding or reading a story. It's really, really useful. I say first pregnancy more than ever, because if you choose to have any more afterwards, you will notice a big difference if you don't do it.
Wow. Okay.
So I would definitely do your pelvic floors. And also if you build up your pelvic floor muscles, you're then going to take a little bit of pressure off your pelvis and then off your back, and everything's going to feel a little bit easier. So we just want to work on sort of strengthening from the inside out. So we'll go through that this evening, and we'll look at some different techniques to get rid of the sciatic pain and the different pelvic pains. So we're going to start with a little bit of breath work to strengthen the tummy muscles first of all. So if you want to sit on your block or your cushion or both, if you're not already, and then chest lifted and shoulders relaxed. All right, so we practiced this breath work last week and we're going to do the same again. So as we breathe in, we're going to fill the belly like a balloon, and then as we breathe out, we're going to squeeze our belly button back towards your spine, and at the same time, squeeze your pelvic floor and hold it. And then as you breathe in, release it all. All right, you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze when you're ready. You take a nice deep breath in and fill the belly. And then breathing out, squeeze your belly towards you. Good, and again, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And out. And in. Breathing out. Good, carry on like this. I'm going to practice this for another minute or so. Good, just a couple more breaths. All right, and then you can continue to breathe in and out, but we're just going to do some warm-ups now. So we're going to look up to the ceiling and then do some big circles around with the head and your chin to your chest. And back the other way. Amazing, and then back to the centre. We're then going to roll the shoulders back. And forwards. Then back to the centre. And then as you breathe in, you're going to squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears. And then breathe out, let go. And again. One more time. Amazing. You can bring your fingertips up towards your shoulders now. And then as you breathe in, we're going to bring our elbows in together. And then breathe out, stretch open in a diagonal to open out the chest. Good, breathing in together. And breathe out the other way. Change one more each side. And then this time breathe in and then do some big circles round with the elbows. And the other way. Amazing. And then hands down. And we're going to take one hand around behind us, doesn't matter which way you go first, and then the other hand over to the opposite knee, and then take a little twist stretch here. Then round to the other side. Amazing, and then back to the same time. We're just going to move on to a little bit of self-massage before we go into our main movement this evening. So we're going to start with a neck and shoulder massage. We're going to take one hand over to the opposite side and just massaging through the shoulder. And from the shoulder, just moving up slightly through the neck. Round to the pressure point just behind your ear. Just moving down the jaw. And then just take your hand and just rest your head down for a second. Take a little breath here. Just come back to the centre. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Moving up through the neck. Finally around your jaw. Take your time. Rest your head on your hands. And then back to the centre. All right, if you want to take your block or cushion or both away and just pop them behind you. And then we're going to come onto our all fours. So hands below shoulders, knees below hips. When you're in this position, make sure you've got a nice flat back. You don't want that dip in your back here. Just want to keep the back nice and strong, core strong, and holding your pelvic floor when you can. And then we're going to go back into that shaking the hips from side to side in a little figure of 8. Amazing. And then when you get back to the centre, we've got that nice flat back, and we're going to go back into our cat-cow stretches. Obviously, we're not going to do the opposite cow. So as you breathe in, you can just lift the head slightly. And then as you breathe out, we want to roll into that cat. Last week, we were doing it as a full cat stretch, but today I want you to really focus on tilting that pelvis under to make sure that we're really working on the lower back today. So we're going to take a deep breath in and then tilt the pelvis under. So you're still doing that cat stretch, but you can feel it more in your lower back and bottom instead as you breathe out. Breathing in, coming back to a flat back. And then breathing out, tilt under. Good, and again. Okay, just 2 or 3 more here. Amazing. All right, so you're going to stay where you are, and we're going to come into a pelvic floor stretch now. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how we're going to do this. So I want you to imagine that your pelvic floor muscles are like a bag, like a drawstring bag. As you relax, the bag is open, everything is loose, everything is sort of as it is naturally. And then as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze your muscles and close that bag. So squeezing as tight as you can. You guys are still sort of under, I'd say when you get to sort of 33, 34 weeks, start to just squeeze to maybe like 70%. But up until that point, holding as much as you can. And then as you breathe in, you're going to relax again. The reason we're doing this on all fours is because it's slightly harder. It works the muscles a little bit more. You can do it seated, you can do it lying down, however you like, as long as you're getting it done. All right, so in an all fours position, you can close your eyes if you find that it helps you to focus, but you don't have to. So then we're going to take a nice deep breath in as we're relaxed. And then as you breathe in, breathe out, sorry, you're going to squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Good, and then breathe in and relax. Breathe out, squeeze. Again, breathing in, relax. And breathe out, squeeze. Just keep going like this. So the next time we do this, you're going to hold it for a couple of breaths. So relax as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze and hold. And then you're going to take a couple of breaths whilst you're still holding. So you can breathe in and out, but don't let go. Just holding as much as you can. And then relax. All right, going back into those hips, figure of 8.
It's quite a good way of doing it. The drawstring nowadays.
It's quite visual, isn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of makes it quite easy. There's lots of techniques, and if you look it up, pelvic floor strengthening, there's loads of different breathing methods, but this is the reverse breathing technique. So you squeeze on the out breath rather than the in breath, and it is the most simple and it's the easiest to remember. So I wouldn't worry about looking at anything fancy. I'd just kind of pick one, stick to it, and do it as much as you can. All right, so from here we're going to do some big pelvic circles now. So as we breathe in, we're going to push ourselves forwards, and then as we breathe out, we're going to come round in a big circle, bottom all the way round, and then coming forwards the other way. All right, you can widen your knees if you need to, if you're bump, all the way round. And breathing in as you come forwards, and breathing out. Back the other way. Amazing. And then coming back to that flat back in the centre as we get ready to stand up. Just shuffle forwards a little bit. All right, so if you can tuck the toes under. And then as we breathe in, we're going to rock the weight forwards. And then breathing out, rock back. Good. Breathing in, rock forwards. And then breathing out, rock back and walk your hands back towards your knees. Nice and slowly come up. Don't get too quick. Amazing. All right, well done. That's easy. Okay, so posture is another really important thing to help with any pelvic pain. So if you find you're getting particularly sciatic pain, lower back pain, and anything through the back of your pelvis, most likely because of poor posture, because your QL muscles are working really, really hard at this point. So when we're standing normally, if you just let yourself stand really lazily, how you would, without thinking about it, just let yourself sort of hang and stand comfortably. And then just pop your hand in the middle of your back. Feel, is it flat? Is it arched? Take a little moment to notice. All right, so then take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just tilt your pelvis forwards and see if you can flatten your back a little bit more. You notice the difference? Yeah. Then as you breathe out, you can relax again. Good. Take a nice deep breath in again. And then breathing out, tilt under. You'll also find this draws your belly button in as well, like we did in breathing at the beginning. All right, breathing in, you can relax. Breathing out, tilt it under one more time. Now, if you can stay in this position, you can see here my back is more flat, my belly is more tucked in. It's definitely more flat. It definitely didn't look like that a few minutes ago. My shoulders, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed as much as possible. Try and stay like this. If you're at your desk trying to work, just try and tilt your pelvis under a little bit. If you're walking around, try to do it. It's quite tricky and it does feel a little bit like tense. You feel like people are probably looking at you because you might look a bit weird, but you don't. You don't look any different. It just feels a little bit unnatural because it's not how we would normally hold ourselves. But just take a moment just to walk up and down your mat. Try and keep that flat back. Good posture. And if you can just make these small alterations in your day, it is going to make a huge difference to your back and your pelvis over the next few months. Relax. Just feel a bit weird, doesn't it? You almost feel like you've got a basket on your head, so you're like, I'm just trying to balance this and be really careful. All right, so another really good stretch is Warrior Two. So if you've ever done yoga before, you will have done this. And this is amazing for sorting out any pelvic and hip pains. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our left foot forwards to begin with, pointing towards the front of the mat. I'm going to do it this way so I can see you guys rather than turn your back to you. Your right foot is then going to turn in line with the back of your mat, and the heel of your front foot should be in line with the middle of your back foot. So Jemima, if you just shuffle your back foot towards, yeah, perfect. Amazing. All right, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, just drop the shoulders. Good. Breathing in, we're going to bend the front knee forwards over the toes. And then breathe out. All right, so here I'm going to have a little look at your legs and make some adjustments. So I can see that your knee is wanting to go over the side. So I'm just going to twist your knee round there. Hold it there. Yours looks okay. So most people, in pregnancy specifically, will have skewed hips. That means your pelvis and your hips are out of line. And this will cause sciatic and pelvic and back pain. And the reason we can tell this is by doing this stretch. If your knee goes off at an angle like that, then your hips are going to be out of line. So you can tweak it by pulling that leg round. You'll then feel the stretch on the inner thigh. There's a little bit burning, to begin with, but that's going to help to straighten things out and take that pressure off your pelvis. So when you practice this, if you do it at home, just be mindful of checking that your knee is going directly over your toes. And if it's not, pull it round and then try and hold it there for a couple of breaths. All right? We'll take a couple of deep breaths here. And drop the arms straight to that front leg. Give yourself a minute just to walk it out. And then we're going to do the same the other way. This time your right foot's going to step forwards and the left foot's going to turn. Chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Breathing in, lift the arms and drop the shoulders. In, bend that front leg and then breathe out. And then just take a little look down, check that you're not going off at an angle. If you are, just adjust it. And then when you're comfortable, take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Alright. Yeah, shuffle back in. So another really good stretch from the back of the pelvis, and to take that pressure off your back, is called a camel tilt. So you can do this against the wall. We haven't got many walls in here, so we're going to do this standing, but you could do this with your forearms then up against the wall like this, with your knees slightly bent. So if you want to practice it at home like that, then you can. You want your hips, your feet, slightly wider than hip distance apart if you can, and just bend your knees slightly. Right. This is a little bit strange, so don't worry if you feel a little bit self-conscious doing this. As if you're all doing it. All right, so as you breathe in, you want to stick your bottom back, keep your chest lifted and shoulders relaxed. And then as you breathe in, you want to tilt your pelvis forwards, so you're like kind of lifting, so you've got your pelvis nice and relaxed, and then you want to lift the whole thing forwards if you can. All right, so breathing in, stick the bottom back, and then breathing out, tilt forwards. Okay. Right, so this time we're going to take it into a rolling motion. So we're going to breathe in, stick the bottom back, and then as you breathe out, we're going to scoop forwards into a stand. All right, so breathe in, bend the knees, bottom back. Breathe out, squeeze forwards and up. Breathing in and out. This can be really nice to do in labour, so early labour. Be active whilst you've got any of those cramping sensations. Just a more time. So we're going to come into a forward bend in a second. So if you have had any lightheadedness or dizziness, just be mindful of that and don't let yourself hold in this stretch too long. And if anything feels funny, just sit down. I'll come and help you. All right, so for a forward bend, in pregnancy, we want to use our legs for support so that we don't bend over too far. And you can come down to wherever feels comfortable. That may just be the knees. It might be with your hands on your calves, wherever you think feels good to you. And then when you feel comfortable, drop the head and just let yourself sort of hang, feel the stretch all the way through your back and your glutes. And then you're going to take 3, 4, 5 deep breaths here. And then slowly use your hands to push yourself all the way back up with your head coming up last. All right, breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, hands to heart center. Breathing up. Breathing out, will bring yourself down. I'm just going to come to a kneeling position. Right, we're going to practice those pelvic floors again, but we're going to do it on our knees instead of all fours this time, just to show you the difference, how it might feel. So you can close your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. And then when you're ready, you're going to take a nice deep breath in and relax your muscles. And then as you breathe out, squeeze in your pelvic floor. Notice how it feels, easier, harder, different to before. Breathing in, relax. Breathing out, hold. Breathing in and out. And again. And then this time, breathing in, relax. And as you breathe out, we're going to hold and then take 3 or 4 breaths here. Amazing, and you can relax. All right, coming back forwards onto your all fours again. Have a little shake of the hips just to warm things up. And then we're going to take our right knee forwards this time. So we're going to bring our knee in towards between our hands and then turn the foot out towards the side. Your back leg is then going to extend flat, and you should feel this stretch through your glutes. And then pushing into your hands, open up your chest and just take a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, gliding your knee back in line with the other one. And then we're going to switch sides. So this time the left knee is going to come forwards. Turn your foot out to the side and stretch out that back leg. If you need to turn your wrists, I find it easier to turn my wrists in towards me, but you don't have to. And then take a few breaths here. Amazing. Bring yourself back to the centre. And we're just going to go back into those pelvic circles. So breathing in forwards, breathing out all the way round. The other way. Then finally just resting yourself back into child's pose, your bottom to your heels. And then either keep your arms outstretched or you can stack your fists and just rest your head for a couple of breaths. And when you're ready, you can come back up into your knees. We're just going to put your cushion at the back of your mat, so in front, you can do either or. I'm going to do one more stretch before we go into our relaxation. So I'm going to show you how to do this. You're going to come onto your backs. We're going to go flat on our backs, which if you start to feel dizzy, just obviously roll onto your side. But it is safe to be here just for a couple of moments. So bend your knees, lower yourself all the way down, keeping your knees bent. Good. And then arms out nice and wide in a T shape. If you can get them wide. And we're going to drop the knees to one side, doesn't matter which side first. And then look over to the opposite shoulder, so you've got that stretch, thoracic stretch through your spine. And we're going to switch sides, bring your head back to the centre, knees up, and then drop them over to the opposite side. And then looking over your opposite shoulder. And then keeping your legs where you are. If you want to stay on your left, you can then roll yourself onto your left-hand side. Pop your block between your knees if you want it. If you'd prefer to be lying flat on your back for your relaxation, then that's fine. I'm just going to turn the lights down. Alright, so when you're in a comfortable position, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze when you're ready. And then just start to bring your awareness back to your breath, breathing nice and slowly in and out through your nose. You want to let the breath deepen as we relax into this guided relaxation for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So the intention of the relaxation this evening is to give you the space to be at one with your pregnancy and to just take a few minutes just to connect with your baby. We're going to let go of any feelings from the day or the week so far. Any anxiety you may have about pregnancy, birth, what it's going to look like being a mum of 1 or 2. We're going to breathe through any discomfort and just take a few minutes to honour the miracle that's happening inside of us right now. So as you take a deep breath in, bring your awareness to your belly expanding. And then as you breathe out, keep going until you have no more air to release. Bring your breath into a regular, relaxed rhythm. And feel your body getting a little bit heavier with every breath. With every breath in, take in a soothing, calm energy. Feeling it soften your body and softening your mind. And as you breathe out, let go of any tension, anxiety, discomfort. Breathing in, calm. And breathing out, tension. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're going to take a moment just to connect with our baby. If it feels comfortable, you can bring your hands to your belly. And as you do, just recognize the warmth of your hands. And I want you to imagine that warmth as a calming, glowing yellow light. Now watch it glow from your hands onto your belly, radiating into your body. Watch it embrace your baby so gently. Your little love, warmly holding them inside your belly. Take a deep breath in and expand your belly. And as you do so, watch the light growing bigger and brighter. And as you breathe out, you feel calm and relaxed. Any discomforts that you have right now, or that you've had today or this week, just bring them to the front of your mind for a moment. Recognize them. And then as you breathe out, watch them drift away into the distance. Bring your attention back to your body and your baby. Maybe you can feel them wriggling around right now. Your body's working really hard. It's one of the only real miracles, magical moments in life. So let's just take a moment to appreciate that. But sometimes pregnancy, labour and birth can be uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be really testing of our patience and our strength. But it truly is an amazing gift. So try to meet it with grace. You have everything you need right now to grow, nourish and love your little one. Your body is doing the most amazing job. I'm just going to stay here for a couple more breaths whilst you really relax. And then in your own time, I'm going to bring our awareness back to this room. Start to wriggle through the fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open. Stretch out your legs a little. And then nice and slowly bring yourself up onto your mats. I'm just going to take a couple more breaths together before we say goodbye. Breathing in together. And breathing out. Again, breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Namaste.